Look at that. To Jeff. What's it say?
So I was saying to Omar, even Jay knew. Even Jay was telling me to train hard.
God.
This is 2005.
So we are at the Kiwi Palace. What's going on here, Jeff?
This is it, man. We're going to hit some arms today. Again. This
Crazy.
is arm day number 4.
Jeff, you get two bros together, and they inevitably, we're like, you want to squat, and somehow now we're training arms.
Like you started with a squat. I didn't do it. I foam rolled. And now we're going to hit some arms. So
Yep.
Basically, I think since I've been combining strength and size goals, a lot of people will say, okay, one kind of downside of that is that certain muscles might take a back seat, like the biceps, sometimes the triceps, side delts, lats, calves. So what I do is I kind of clump all of my main hypertrophy work for those muscles kind of on one day, and I'll just hit it whenever throughout the week. We're going to start off with just like plain hat, barbell curls, and floor skull crushers.
This is how it all started. Two dudes getting a pump together in some random ass basement in the suburbs of Toronto. Hi, how's it going? Consider this the origin story for my 2021 arc, Return of the Tone, that's the subtitle. The one and only Joffrey Nipples, aka the Kiwi King, moved to Toronto in November of last year, so November 2020. Gym's closed shortly thereafter, and so we ended up training in his basement in the Kiwi Dungeon inside the Kiwi Palace in the interim. The setup was very simplistic, right? We had a power rack that wanted to kill us, to be honest. It was real janky. We had a barbell, we had dumbbells, we had weights. I think it went up to almost 500 pounds, and that was pretty much it. And there was a beauty in that simplicity. You'll notice, during that time, and I will talk about the absence, taking time away from YouTube. I wanted to keep the content fresh, and there basically wasn't really a way to do that up to my specifications, up to those standards during that time. But the vast majority of our training sessions in November and December were not filmed. And there's a simple purity of just, getting after it that harkened back to my university days where there were no ulterior motives, thinking, man, this would make a great thumbnail, or, hey, this should be a photo for the gram. And whether you're aware of it or not, as a content creator, as just anyone that's on social media these days, subconsciously that kind of goes on in the back of your mind, whether you're aware of it or not. So training with Jeff, being present in the moment and just focusing on the quality of the movements and emphasizing progress was what was up. And so the camera wasn't on, we're just getting after it. And that makes sense why this video we ended up filming an easier day, just an arm accessory day, right? Because it's light, we're laughing in between sessions, just a couple of guys gaggling. That's what was going on. And the focus always was on, doing one more rep, doing a little bit more weight, and simply pushing each other.
Jeff, that sounds wonderful. One thing, dude. Ooh, we need to talk about your drinking problem. Because, this thing right here, let's just have like a to size scale. Sir, can you just hold this for a second?
No, it's got the angle, okay?
It's got the angle. We need to
See? It's actually not that.
Is that 2 liters? How many liters is that? 3? No, 4?
It looks like at least 2 or 3. Yeah, 3. It's 3.
Bro,
Yeah.
is everything all right, Jeff?
This has been in the... Bro, I swear, I don't know who drank this, okay? No, I swear, if you go back, this is in the background of so many of my videos for no reason. It just happens to be there.
Party boy Jeff.
Over the years, it's gone from here to here.
I thought I was going to find kiwis.
I don't even, what is this, white rum?
It's one of those movements that's deceptive though, Jeff. You think it's fine, you get to the final 7 and you're
because
like,
the reps are so high, it just really starts to burn.
Yeah.
And, the pump actually restricts you in some ways.
Yep.
But I should say, this is kind of the, day that I have fun too. So I will push it harder on biceps and triceps than I would on even my accessory body or accessory movements on a normal day. So if it seems like it's ooh, a bit of body English, that's on purpose.
Sure.
I just kind of let loose on this. This is my bro day.
it's bonus.
Yeah, this is bonus.
Let a bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And need we just forget, can't let him down. Can't let the man down.
I would actually love to train with Jay though.
Jay, hit us back, dog.
I actually really like his training style. It's so mind-muscle connection focused. You know what I mean? When you watch Jay train, you can tell he feels it.
Yeah.
You watch some people train, and it's that is technically proficient. With Jay, it's I feel it in my chest.
And that haircut, come on, man. There's so many reasons to train with him.
Now, you will see in subsequent videos some of those all-time PRs that I did hit after this. So in 2021, I hit some big lifts, some all-time records once again. But the seeds of those PRs begin here. The vision started here, in the basement with me, Joff, and yes, Jay fucking Cutler. You'll notice in this video that Jeff's actually taking me through one of his accessory arm days because, let's face it, I need bigger guns. It was an easier day for us, so we had, 4 core days, and this was a bonus 5th day to train. And maybe if you want to see some of those tips and tricks, my boy Joff is coming back to Toronto in a little bit. Like the video, leave a comment below, and we'll certainly make that video. Before all of this, so earlier on in 2020, due to the pandemic and the volatile nature of gyms being open and then closed, much of the previous part of the year was simply focused on maintaining my gains, keeping what I got. And yeah, I was able to eke out a little bit of progress. I hit a 230-pound overhead press PR, which was an all-time PR, so that was good. But the rate of progress has certainly slowed as priorities shifted. Once Joff came down and I had a secure place to train, the scope of my goals expanded once again, which makes sense, right? And I have to give immense credit at the same time to Jeff himself, who I do regard as a fantastic training partner. He brings the hype, he brings the motivation, he brings the intensity. I think he's very underrated when it comes to his strength. I think people forget that he's a 165-pound lifter. A lot of people on YouTube, the natural side, they're either 181 or above, and he's keeping up with all of them and in ways surpassing them. I think I've told Jeff this in person. My boy is approaching that 405 bench. It's going to happen. And he brings that genuine, infectious enthusiasm for lifting. Lifting just to lift, right? You don't have to record it. You don't have to talk about it. That always is a mainstay when I look for effective training partners. So I would say before this, I thought I was training at a certain intensity. I'd been training lone wolf for such a long period of time, and sometimes you get set in your ways. You think you're getting after it. I think many people can relate to this. You're like, yeah, like your legs are shaking after a set of squats. You're bringing the mental focus, but there's levels yet to be unlocked. And this kind of reminds me years ago when I first joined Fortis Fitness. This is in 2012. I've shared this story quite a few times where, I'd train to actual failure, right? Like I would do deadlifts and I would need to rest for 5-10 minutes afterwards because I was grinding out that last rep for 8 or 10 seconds. And I thought I was really training as hard as I could. And then I joined Fortis Fitness. I learned about proper programming, leaving reps in reserve, and a whole bunch of other things. And I unlocked a whole other level. I went from deadlifting 425 to 495 beltless. So that was a straight 70-pound jump in the span of about 5 to 6 months. And then I wore a belt. And within a few months after that, I hit 545. So it really shows how your scope can expand under the right environment, under the right conditions, doing the right things. I do think programming certainly matters. And so I was used to training on my own, seeing Jeff, training with Jeff, the intensity that he brings. He's squatting, 405 and change and above on a regular basis. So it gave me the kick in the ass that I needed to up the intensity again to make me look at the horizon and think, is this it? Nah, I can definitely do more. So I have him to thank. And I would say, believe me, right here, I'm showing you the least dramatic, practically most mundane arm training session, but this is setting the scene of the slaughter that will follow. So I think it's a perfect kind of origin story because you don't want to bring the hype, the ruckus in the first video. You want to start off from those humble beginnings, and it all starts in that basement, this basement right here. And in another way, I think this is the perfect way to kick off my first real video back on YouTube for 2021. No fancy edits, no Raris, no hot guy babes trying to sell you Dick Pump 9000. Just a simple, grainy arm training video from 2 lifelong lifters.
Hey, Jeff, with the $1 million rack, let's just give a shout out to the rack right here.
So
show that stability,
so
bro.
This actually is much worse in person. Like these screws do not want to stay here. These are the safety precautions here. So
yeah,
This is called a dumbbell. Mm-hmm. Just throw that on the back.
Yep.
And someone asked me recently, they said in the comments from the squat depth video, they said, hey Omar, you've been on the scene for over a decade. How do you plan on staying relevant? And I think that's a good question. I also think it's a mistake. The first mistake someone can make is to, in quotations, try to be relevant, to chase and emulate what everyone else is doing. I'm not saying being set in your ways, but slick editing and catchy titles certainly have their place. But from looking at the new YouTube scene overall, I kind of miss the rawness from times past, when there once again weren't ulterior motives. They're just guys getting after it, people training, trying to improve themselves, trying to share what they're doing with other people. And I want to focus on that. I want to focus on the genuine enthusiasm for lifting itself. So once again, not trying to sell you on a lifestyle or make you envious of my Rari. I don't have one. I ride public transportation. Shout out to the TTC. And lifting simply for the love of lifting. I think there's always an elegance and beauty in the purity of something, right? And also to be able to authentically express yourself on camera without a million different edits or quick cuts, or the need basically for those fancy edits to obfuscate what's really going on underneath it all, which is usually something superficial. Now, like I said, I'm not getting set in my ways. I will certainly kick up the humor a bit. I'm going to get more creative with videos, and I want to evolve with the times. So let's not be mistaken about that. But I also never want to miss the goal of keeping the focus on lifting itself. I would say innovation must take place, but not at the expense of the tonal center of what you're trying to do. So maybe I'm old school, maybe the times, they are changing, but all I know is the focus personally in 2021 for me are objective improvements in my lifting. So getting a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger, and then maybe a little bit leaner. And again, I'll recap everything that's been going on in regards to training, but I think this makes perfect sense to show this training session in particular, because it's like year zero, the origin story. That will make everything else, will frame it in the proper light so it all makes sense. And I'll say for everyone listening right now, if you made it all the way to the end right here, I appreciate everyone sticking around. All the positive comments I read from the comeback video. Y'all are too damn sweet. Enough to make a grown boy cry. I'll focus for the next little bit on putting out a video one time per week. I'll try and set a day, maybe it'll be Monday or Wednesday when it'll be, but that's yet to be determined. The emphasis right now is on that one time per week video, getting back into the swing of things, get that creativity there. And so once again, I appreciate everyone for sticking around. Go ahead, leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to respond. And last but not least, you made it all the way to the end of the video. I don't know if you've been eating your vegetables. I don't know if you have scurvy right now, but you have one job to do right now, and that is to like the damn video if you like the damn video. And I'll see all you guys, my rascals, in that next one. Peace.
Let's go.
Eat your vegetables, eat your vegetables, eat your fucking vegetables.